Today I'm going to do a sound design session where I will create a texture, a noise texture from scratch without using a synthesizer or a other instrument. So I will just use the effects in Ableton to come up with something. So let's go. I will start with the vinyl distortion on an audio track. So this creates some kind of crackle. Here's a bit of reverb, or a lot of reverb. A little bit of fuzz. Now to capture this, I will use Resample. So now that I have this as a loop, I will add the bit reduction to make it 10 bits, so even becomes a bit more noisy. And flatten this to audio. And then the next step is really to put this sample into Simpler, so I have more control over the envelope and the pitch, and I can play it also on the keyboard. So I'll show you. Let's go back to Ableton. Mute the sample track, put this in Simpler, and now I can play it over the keyboard. So if I play it very high, so let's put in some notes so we can make a rhythm and then start playing with more effects. The first thing I would add is a delay to stretch out the sound, and then filter the output. Maybe add one more note. Change the attack time. I boosted the volume a bit too much. Change the release time also, longer release. I will add 2 auto pans. So the first one I'm going to transform into a tremolo by putting the phase to 0. I put it on 8 notes. And the second one I will slow down and use to create more stereo feel. So what I always like to do is now to select all these devices and the simpler instrument and group them into an instrument rack, so I can use this instrument later on in a track. So I'll show you. Select all the devices, group, and then noise texture 3. Now it's saved with the sample and the settings for all the different effects that I have. Let's play it again. So one other thing I'm going to do is to assign a macro control of this instrument to one of the effects parameters. So then I know when I get back to this sound later on and I use it in a track, which parameter I could play with that makes sense for this instrument. So I'm going to map the filter frequency of the delay to the first macro. And now when I control this, I can make the delay more dark or bright. When I play it now on the keyboard, you can really hear the difference. So now when I collapse this, I have my noise texture. Save it again. I might also export this 8-bar loop as something that I will use together with the noise texture. So that's it for today. A short sound design session from making a noise texture from scratch. Stay tuned for the next one.